Tomorrow, by the way, is primary day in Virginia. Virginians will decide which candidates will advance to the November midterms.
All right, so Republican voters will choose a nominee to challenge Democratic U.S. Senator Mark Warner. All 11 incumbents in the U.S. House of Representatives are seeking re-election.
Two of those incumbents are facing challenges within their parties. Joining us now to talk more about the impact of this primary come November is the man who eats, sleeps, and drinks elections. Larry Sabato, I'm trying to make you crack over there, Professor.
He's like, that all sounds right.
He's the professor of politics and the director of the University of Virginia Center for Politics, one of our favorite people. Larry, great to see you this afternoon.
Wonderful to see you too, and thank you, and I'm not cracking up.
No, this is serious business, and we know this because Virginia primaries are typically in June. This one obviously was postponed because of this whole redistricting fight, but a primary in August? I mean, what role is the turnout going to play this month?
Well, you're absolutely correct to focus on that because it's going to be tiny overall. The early voting has not been particularly strong, and I'm trying to be kind. Democrats in early vote have outvoted Republicans by a substantial margin, about 30,000 votes. But I've got to be honest with you. I want everybody to vote, and it's important to do that. But I've seen many primaries since I got active in the 1960s, and this is right up there on the list of most boring primaries. There's not a whole lot to it. There's only one statewide race. It's not very competitive. The three Republicans running for, the honor of losing to Mark Warner in November. And you have several incumbents on both sides, both Democrats and Republicans, who should be able to easily survive the challenges, even though some of them have attracted multi-candidate field. It's kind of surprising. They don't have any money, though, and I don't know how they're going to win.
One of the most boring primaries. Wow,
that's a quote.
Yeah. All right, Larry. So let's look at the incumbents facing primary challenges within their own parties, beginning with Northern Virginia Congressman and Democrat Don Beyer. Any worries there? It sounds like no.
Any candidate who doesn't worry about any election is asking to be defeated. But Don Beyer, he was in statewide office, a lieutenant governor for 8 years. He has been in Congress for quite some time now. Naturally, he's getting up there. I have to defend old people, but he's getting up there, but still has a lot of energy, and I think will win pretty handily.
Right,
also, his opposition is split. You know, if you're going to oppose a long-term incumbent who has a lot of money, then probably you should negotiate with the other candidates and work it down to a one-on-one.
Let's see how that goes.
Yeah,
can you get out the race?
Anything, right? How about Republican John McGuire, though, in District 5? What about him? How will he fare in his primary?
Massive landslide. Last I checked, his opponent had raised $64. See, that's not a good sign.
$64.
Wow. Fundraising.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, Larry, we know that right now there are 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans from Virginia in the U.S. House. So what role do you think Virginia plays in this fight for Democratic control of Congress overall?
I don't think the Republicans have really any real chance of picking up a seat in Virginia. Democrats have, I'd say, a 50-50 chance of picking up one seat, the Virginia Beach 2nd, which flips back and forth constantly. And you have the current incumbent running against the former incumbent. So they're pretty evenly matched, both raising a ton of money. The other one that may be somewhat competitive is the 1st district. It's kind of the northern neck, Chesapeake Bay area. And there the Republican incumbent is still favored, but the Democrat, Shannon Taylor, nearly won the Attorney General's nomination just last year in the Democratic primary. And she's in pretty good shape, but it's going to be tough to defeat this long-term Republican incumbent, Rob Whitman.
With all this as the backdrop, before we leave you, how do you encourage people in the state to come out and vote, even at a time like this? It's August, it's boring, you can pretty much predict who's going to win. How do you nudge people and say, you still need to get out there and do your civic duty?
Well, I give extra credit to students, so that always helps with the student vote in my class. But look, it's our civic duty. We're not required to do much anymore. I'm from the old draft era. I missed it, thank God, by one year. But you used to have to, if you were male, serve in the military for 2 years, and we have jury duty. But increasingly, people aren't called for jury duty. What's left? Keeping up with candidates and the issues and always voting when you have the opportunity, because hundreds of millions around the world don't have that opportunity.
It's an important reminder.
Yeah, Larry Sabato, professor of politics and director of the University of Virginia Center for Politics. Always great to see you.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed it.
All right, we should point out there are 3 Republican candidates in the primary race for Virginia's Senate seat. One of them hopes to take on Democratic incumbent Mark Warner in November. We were talking about this. Bert Mezouza is a retired U.S. Army veteran who served as an advisor to the director of the CIA, Kim Farrington. I should also note, Kim Farrington is a CPA and business entrepreneur, and David Williams served in the U.S. Marines and worked at the State Department and CIA.
You can take our Virginia primary voter guide with you. Text the word VOTE to the number on your screen. It's 202-895-5599. We'll send you back a link. And then join us tomorrow night on WUSA 9 News at 11 as those first primary results start to come in.
Yeah, until then, check out our streaming special. We are talking with Representative Don Beyer and the 4 other Democrats challenging him in the primary for the 8th Congressional District seat. Just scan this QR code to check it out. It's streaming anytime on the free WUSA 9 app for your TV and mobile devices.